The growth part is in our people, so the competitors can hear it. I've got nothing to hide. People just don't give enough. I think more needs to be given, and you feel good about giving. Why did you do real estate? Let me tell you, when I was at school, I had no idea what I wanted to do, but it wasn't real estate. No choice. When you have no choice and you're thrown in the deep end, you've got to swim. And we've got a great team, and it's a family, and that's one thing I learnt over time. It's not I, it's we. And doing the right thing is successful. Are we the biggest agent in the area? No. Will we do the right thing every single time? 100%. We know how you're going to get your property sold and get the best price for it. Trust us. And the people who trust us get an amazing outcome.
Welcome to the Upshot podcast by Homely, where we invite you into honest conversations with entrepreneurs, challengers, and long-standing legends shaping the real estate industry today.
Well, thank you all for joining us on the fourth edition of the Upshot podcast here at Homely. Today we get to interview Nicholas Skapoulas from Nicholas Scott Real Estate, who again has been in the industry for a very long time and is a very big supporter of Homely as well, which we obviously appreciate. Nick's career has been extensive, and he started back in real estate in 1988, believe it or not, and was one of the first traineeships with the REIV, which is very exciting, so we can certainly cover off on that. Nicholas took over the helm at Nicholas Scott Real Estate back in 1997 and has built out that brand fairly significantly in the inner west marketplace of Melbourne. So we look forward to getting his thoughts on how to build out a brand in a local area and some of the things that he's done with some great success. He's a mad keen Collingwood supporter, and unfortunately they had a very good win last night, and that pains me to tears, so we won't spend too much time on that. He's also an inner west resident as well, so we look forward to getting his thoughts on the local marketplace in his area and having a good discussion about that. Nicholas, great to have you on the program here today.
No, thanks for having me, Ben. I'm honoured to be on and happy to talk real estate and everything that's going on in the inner west, and thanks to Homely.
Fantastic. Now, firstly, I'll just touch on it quickly. Collingwood, what are you guys doing? What are you taking over there?
I don't know. It's so entertaining. I think for every member and non-member, it's like everyone's looking at Collingwood with open eyes, thinking, "What's next?"
I know.
Like McRae and his team, what an outfit, and tenacity and effort. Like it just doesn't stop till the end, does it?
I know. He'd be a very good real estate trainer, I would have thought. Maybe we should get him around and get him to speak to some local agents, get him up and about.
I think he'll be incredible. I just want a bit of whatever he's doing. He's just going to give us everything.
Oh, very good. Very good. Now, obviously with these podcasts, we like to start off with a bit about the property market and what's going on in your local market. How are you finding things out there at the moment? What's the lay of the land?
Oh, it's still, buyer demand is still quite high. We're still at record levels for inquiries, which is fantastic. It's also relevant to the stock levels and the quality of property you've got. So I think it's all relative. But you may break it down with, A grade, B grade and C grade. C grade apartments and townhouses have, softened a little bit, but still active, but price driven. But A grade houses in good locations, incredible demand, great prices. They really haven't dropped off. They've probably gone to another level. And probably what's helped that is the lack of, or the scarcity of trades and builders, and the consumers just scared about what's going to come. So they prefer to spend extra on a fully renovated house.
Yeah. Makes sense. I know that a lot of people that I've spoken to are terrified about engaging trades and services at the moment, just on the pure fear that it may not get done or it's going to cost them 5 times more than what they thought. So I guess that makes the logical sense that the renovated properties would do quite well if there's all that fear going on in the background. Yeah,
which makes sense. And you know what? People they're not handy. They just want a home, and they don't want to be caught up in the issues and the problems. And, is anyone at fault or is no one at fault? Probably likewise for both. No one wants an issue, so they prefer to take the safe path and get one renovated.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, I was actually looking at a place in Kingsville a few weeks ago, and that campaign, I think it had about 18 or 19 groups through and ended up passing in at auction. I was just so confused. So are there general indicators for how a campaign's going? Are they in a normal space, or are you looking for different things to see if things are on track or off track?
There's probably a few elements to that. The urgency isn't as much because people are scared with the banks. They're worried about, is the bank going to support them? The bank's giving pre-approvals, but they are really emphasising put in a finance clause. We still want to get the valuation because everything's unconditional, subject to that last little bit. Some auctions are really successful and some are failing, but selling quickly afterwards. And likewise, the private sale market is just as strong as well. They don't necessarily have to go all the way. They can sell before. And the reality is the goal is exactly the same for a vendor and a purchaser. It's all about price and what that agent negotiates, that because they want to buy as a buyer, the seller wants to sell and get as much as he can. It's that agent being able to accommodate that transaction because at the end of the day, we're negotiators. We put a marketing plan in place and advertise on Homely.
Yes.
And
where that's come from, yeah.
Absolutely. And then just get an end result that's satisfactory for both people. And 99% of the time, both are happy and the outcome's great. But the auction process, there's no urgency, so they don't need to go and bid if they don't have to.
Are you recommending to your clients to go to auction at the moment, or are you leaning more towards private sale in the current climate?
I think we take each one on its own merit. Some owners want to control the space, some don't care and want to run with it. So you can go either way and flip a coin, Ben. There's nothing worse, like you mentioned, that auction where you have a campaign for 4 weeks and, potentially hasn't been handled 100% where you get the right outcome. And to fail at auction is bad. And 9 times out of 10, there's nothing wrong with the property. Maybe just not been handled right and been given the right advice to get it over the line beforehand, because we're in a hot area. The inner west is really thumping. No shortage of inquiries, no shortage of demand. And really there's only 2 reasons why it's not going to sell. You've either got a bad agent or you've got the wrong price.
Yeah. So are you picking up any expired listings at the moment? Is that part of the strategy?
Oh, listen, we don't love it because it's not really good business. We want people to sell their homes, whether it's us or anyone else.
Yeah.
Just get the right advice, get on the right track. I mean, there's a lot of good agents in this area. We're the best ones, of course.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
And there is some bad ones, like anything. That's just real. Get the right advice, and I hope they sell. But if they don't sell, reach out. We'll guide you on the right direction. It's not just about a commission. We want harmony. We want happiness in our area because we're here for the long haul. It's not just a sale today. As you said, I've been here since '87, so I've seen it all. These cycles are going to come and go. Interest rates are going to come and go. And, do good and you'll get good.
Absolutely. And in terms of interest rates, where are they going? What's your thoughts on it?
Who knows? Spin the wheel. I like Bill Evans. I really follow him well. And, he's predicting one more, whether or not it's tomorrow, being the first Tuesday or next month. He believes it will, but there's so much uncertainty around it. Inflation hopefully is pulling back. It looks like it's pulling back. So I think we will get one more, but that'll be it.
Yeah.
And then it'll just pull back.
Yeah. It seems like most of the pricing has priced in another interest rate rise anyway, so I don't think it'll have too much of an impact on the overall market.
No.
Let's move on from property news. Let's talk a little bit about you. Can you run me through your career? You started off as a trainee and you've built yourself up to having a very dominant brand in a very hotly contested marketplace. Run us through your career.
It is. Yeah, it's been an interesting career. And, people say, why did you do real estate? Let me tell you, when I was at school, I had no idea what I wanted to do, but it wasn't real estate. And, it's by default. And my background is Greek, and my parents said, you got to go to work, mate. If you don't want to go to school, you're going to work, so work it out, buddy, and quick. So I did a couple of jobs before I started. originally started in the fruit and wholesale market at Footscray Road. That was a learning curve. So I started work there at midnight and finished at 5:30 in the morning. One of the local fruiterers in Yarraville used to take me home so I could get to school by 8:30. And I knew I was earning good money. It was $500 a week back then, and I was 17. And that's back in 87. That was huge. And that's how I bought my first house. I saved all that money, and I'll never forget the day. It was 47 grand. It was on Francis Street. I put up half the money. My parents put the other half, and lo and behold, I bought my first home. But I knew that wasn't the caper I needed to get into. So I saw a job ad in the local paper because there was no internet back then. And it was past the due date. But anyway, I put my dad's wedding suit on because I never had a suit. I went down to the local real estate agent and said, I want a job and I think I want to do real estate. And that was George & Co. So I got the job and my first 12 months was just vacuum cleaning, switchboard, taking rents by cash. You know, we used to take cash back then. He enrolled me into the first traineeship with the REIV. My mum, bless her soul, still got the article about it. And it all started there. So 12 months with him. And I wanted to get into sales. Like I was itching. It was, but I call it, it was unconscious incompetence because I just wanted to do sales, but I didn't know how to do it. Because I definitely wasn't a studier or a reader. And it was very, very different times back in 88. No mobile phones. All the real estate agents, come 12 o'clock, they were at home. See you later.
There you go.
I was a young kid and I wanted to work. And Saturday, because it wasn't part of my traineeship, I said, no, don't worry, don't pay me. I'll just do it for free. I'll come in, I'll do the open for inspections. And my first open for inspection, I'll never forget it, 33 O'Farrell Street in Yarraville. A couple from St Kilda came in to the open for inspection. And it was $68,000. And they came in and they said, yeah, we want to buy it. And I shit myself. I didn't know what to do. So I went to the telephone box, rang the boss because it was 1 o'clock. He was at home. I said, George, they want to buy the house. He goes, take them back to the office, just get them to sign a contract. And that's what I did. So that was my first sale.
That's awesome.
It was incredible. It was an incredible journey. So anyway, I worked for him for 10 years. The journey with him was incredible because he was a man of his word and a great mentor, a beautiful human being. And he taught me everything I know today, more on the honesty approach. And it was a handshake back then. There was no authorities. There was no contracts. It was, I want to sell my house, you sell it, you get a commission. And the comms back there on average were like $3,000. It was nothing. So you had to make a lot of sales to earn a decent living. But I worked hard, and that's one thing I say to people in real estate today: just work hard. There's no different to today. We've got more technology, more information, more of everything. And we still have to work hard to get it over the line. So 10 years with him, his kids didn't want to buy the business. They were done. He sold it to me, which was huge. I was 27 years old, making a massive commitment into real estate in 97. And it was a really big turning point because I bought the rent roll. He had a very small rent roll. I wanted to buy the building because I didn't want to just be a tenant, and I sorted all the funding, and at the last minute Westpac pulled the pin on the business funding, and the money I had for the renovation I had to pay him for the business because I gave him my word. And then I thought, oh my God, like there was no second option. It was just success. I had to get out, sell real estate to make money to fund the renovation. And it was me and a receptionist, and I was working 7 days a week. There was no hold up. And back then I was doing between 12 and 15 sales a month myself and listing 12 and 15. And I had to because I needed to fund the reno.
Did you have a team around you?
No, it was just me and a receptionist.
Wow, that's awesome.
That was incredible. It was a tough time, but again, I was unconsciously I don't know, just no choice. When you have no choice and you're thrown in the deep end, you've got to swim. So we slowly built a team, built a rent roll, and down the track now, I think, I wish I had the knowledge and the information back in 97 that I do now. The internet sites and the team, because now there's a team of 20. We've got 6 in sales. We've got 7 in rentals. We manage a portfolio of about 850 properties. We've got a great team, and it's a family. And that's one thing I learnt over time. It's not I, it's we. And we as a team do a lot. And we put the consumer first, and we'll never do anything wrong. We put into the community, support the community. That's how I met Nicole from Homely and the girls there. And, we support you and you support us. And, it's successful. And doing the right thing is successful. Are we the biggest agent in the area? No, we're not. Will we do the right thing every single time? 100%. Will we hurt anyone? No. We do good business. We make massive sales. Last month, we just came off 20 sales for the month, which is a big month for us. So inquiries up. I think we finished on 240 inquiries for the month of April, which is again big, and continuing to get big. So momentum is still huge, Ben. In the inner west. So numbers are big, listings are big, but we're working really, really hard. So training is a really massive thing for us. And the likes of, I love Jim Rohn, Bill Tracy. I reach out to real estate agents now. Listen to these guys; they got old messages, but they're relevant today. Anthony Robbins, another good one for motivational. And Gary Vee, who's going to be in Melbourne in August. Go and listen to him. The marketing's incredible because we are becoming marketing machines and negotiating machines. That's what real estate's going to be.
Yeah. You look at it in the US, and they've just everything is about content, and I feel like we're behind the 8 ball on that front. But it seems like it's very much going that way. You look at some of the big agents all the way around the country, and they're just promoting themselves and properties every single day. So, it
is, and it's you look at Ryan C. I always muddle up his name in New York, and so that's what a machine. And and they're talking big real estate. That's a melting pot for serious money. For them to be doing $50-60 million sales is like just a 1-bedroom flat down here for $300,000. Takes the same amount of effort and skill, but it's a different ball game. So it's changing, and AI is going to change all that as well soon enough.
Yep. So obviously you've had a big, extensive career. And we've spoken to a couple of other guests in previous weeks about their passions outside of real estate. Do you have anything that you're really passionate outside of real estate, or do you just give absolutely everything to your business and your local marketplace?
I love cycling. I cycle 5 times a week, so that's my debrief in my head. Obviously, I love football, and Collingwood's my number 1 team, and Footscray's my number 2 because there's a soft spot for Footscray. Like, great people around here, and we deal with a lot of personalities in the area because they're buying and selling real estate. And soccer, I love soccer. I went to the World Cup. I love the Aussies. I followed them around in Qatar and Russia before that. And America in 4 years. So that'll be an incredible journey as well. So we're planning that now, and that'll be great.
Awesome. That sounds like an awesome trip.
Yeah, it should be great.
So back to your career just quickly. So you had a lot of, we'll call it financial pressure to get things moving because things didn't go your way. I guess, is there anything that you would have changed over your career, or anything that you would have done differently that may have, I guess, changed the trajectory of your career at all?
In hindsight, everyone's, you can look back and say, I should have done this a little bit different. But, I don't regret a minute of it. Like, I've had a great journey. During that time, I'm married. I've got 2 children. So you fit all that in. Learning, because I was never a big reader. If I could say, could I do something more, I would have read more. There's now podcasts. If you're not a big reader, there's so much to listen to, and probably made the team bigger and bigger, and been a little bit more aggressive with the hiring. It's probably one thing I would have done differently. And I never wanted a second office. Like, I was happy here. This is plenty. Yarraville's a great suburb. Like, I'm born and bred on Francis Street. I went to Footscray High School, so my connections and my deep roots are here. So it's a fun place, and Yarraville's changed so much. And the people that are here are incredible. So would I change much? No, I think it's just probably a bigger team and read more. I've travelled extensively. I've done a lot for myself. I haven't stood still. I haven't been an agent that hasn't taken time out. I've walked Everest. I've done Kilimanjaro. And real estate's given me the opportunity to do that. I've done the Kokoda Trail. It's one thing I recommend for every father and son. Go and do it. The dawn service and doing that is just, it's a buzz. But real estate's given me the opportunity to do that. Financially, and you just make the time. And the reading's given me the opportunity to do that because it's opened my horizons. Yeah.
Is there anything special that you're reading at the moment, or anything that you can recommend to the listeners?
I really like Dave Anderson. He's an American speaker.
Okay.
I'd get onto him. He's matter of fact. He does not sugarcoat anything. If you're a procrastinator, he'll cut that out of you. I love him because he says, whatever you're doing, do it now. Don't wait, right? Get on it. He's wonderful. And, I like Gary Vee because of the marketing stuff. And that's probably more so what I'm reading at the moment. I'm always on the lookout for new stuff. I've been part of a book club, and I'm not a bookworm. I've got to struggle to read, but I take an hour or a couple of hours out to try and do my best. Get on to Dave Anderson. He'll knock your socks off.
Very good. I'm an awful reader. I don't think the last book I finished was in high school, which I still have this reoccurring dream that I am 3 weeks out from my Year 12 English exam and I haven't read the book. So I still have that 13 years later. So it's giving me a bit of trauma right now talking about it. But anyway, we move on.
We do. I'll tell you a really quick story. So, again, I come from a Greek background, and my parents just wanted me to finish, HSC, which was back then. And I hated school, hated everything about it, and I hate the word hate, so I don't like using it. But all I needed to do was get 51% because I wanted to be out of there. And that's all I got, 51. And I said to my mum and dad, I passed. Now leave me alone, all right?
Yeah.
They said, okay, now go get a job. Tick, exactly.
Yeah. Oh, very good. Very good. Now, talk to me a little bit about your brand. I would say it's one of the more innovative brands in the local marketplace. Walk us through what you do differently, how you're trying to tackle, I guess, building out your brand, your audience in your local marketplace.
Yeah, I think it's really important to have a point of difference, and because everyone just does the normal mainstream stuff, and when you go into a consumer's house and why they're going to use you. And it's really about us, and it's about getting our service, being accountable. And we wanted an office and a personnel that were going to take that to the next level. So our branding needed to represent that. So we've got a really good marketing company that produced our logos and our marketing tools and the strategies. But really, at the end of the day, it's the people behind those strategies and what we believe. We cater for what's best for our sellers at that point in time, because we get, not everyone's the same. We're dealing with humans, we're dealing with emotions, we're dealing with, financial situations, because, they come to a real estate agent because they're either upgrading, downgrading, cashing in, especially more so now with, the financial pressure that they're going to get. It's understanding those consumers and being able to do the best for them to get them to the next step. So our brand is really consumer-based, and it's for the benefit of the consumer. Yes, do we want to earn a commission? People say you're a commission agent. Of course we are. That's how we live and that's how we survive. but we're still going to give you the best advice to get you to the next step, because we're doing it every day. Like, it's not. We know how you're going to get your property sold and get the best price for it. Trust us. And the people who trust us get an amazing outcome.
I used to work with a guy, I won't name his name, but he gave me some really good advice that not only applies to real estate, but just business in general. And it was along the lines of, if you give people the right advice in any situation, whether that be to sell at the time or not sell at the time, they will trust you more in that situation, and it will just mean that down the track, whether you get the business there or down the track, you'll get it uncontested, versus the person that is giving you basically what you want to hear or the wrong information. They have their own vested interest painted all over their face. So, if you exactly what you guys are doing in your local marketplace, do the right thing by the customer, and I guess the results will follow. It's very, very important to remember.
Oh, absolutely, Ben. You know what? And there's good and bad in every area. And we've got some agents here that they just want to get the business and tell the consumer anything. And you know what? You quickly become undone. And it's bad business. You don't need to do it. And we're so consumer focused and orientated. We just want the best for them. Like, there's been instances where we've said, we just can't help you. Like, we're not going to do it your way. You really need to follow our service and our system, and we will get you there. And I promise you'll be happy. And if you're not, we'll rip everything up and you can go wherever you want.
Yeah.
We're not going to hold you to anything.
Yeah. So in terms of your team at the moment, what are you looking for when you're hiring, young people coming through? Is there anything specific that you think an agent needs to have these days?
It all comes back to attitude for me. They got the right attitude and character. We'll train them to do the rest. There's a lot of good people out there that have got the potential to be great real estate agents. And the beauty with real estate is it's human. We've got nothing on the shelf. It's not a sandwich shop. We're selling real estate, and you go out and you meet people, and that's what I say. Just go and meet people and have fun. Because everyone wants to have a laugh and have some fun. And when you've got the right knowledge and the experience, they're going to pick you as your agent. They're going to love you, because how could they not if you've got the right attitude and character? You'll get them sold, and then you'll have raving fans.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you can't beat word of mouth business.
Yeah, you get that uncontested, you get your fees that you want, and best business to get. I was speaking to a guest a couple of weeks ago, and he was telling us that there was one piece of business that there was 10 agents pitching for. I mean, as if you want to go for that when you can get it all uncontested.
Well, how do you even pick, Ben?
Unbelievable.
It's funny because people say, I always say, just do the right thing, be nice and do the right thing every time, right? Regardless, if it doesn't benefit you, just do the right thing. And, we're marketing a property in South Yarra at the moment, and I got that through a referral from one of my kids' friends at school. The mum said, we've got a friend, they want to sell a property in South Yarra, and I thought, it's an apartment, and we met with them. Trusted me. They said, Nick, do what you got to do. And then they said, no, it's not one apartment, it's 12.
Yeah.
So, we got 2 or 3 left, and, they've had an amazing experience. And I the hope in my heart, they give me a beautiful testimonial. And that's all I want. It's that simple, and they're happy and we're happy.
Yeah. Yeah. Did the testimonials help you out in your marketplace, the client reviews? Yeah,
I think it's so important because people want to know what people are saying about you.
Of course.
The reviews are important. If you can get them on video or we try and send them to Homely, put the review on, and, do the normal stuff. Some people are a little bit embarrassed. They don't want to do it, but we push for it because it helps.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, let's delve into the customer side of things, because it sounds to me like one of the key pillars of your business is around the customer and how you treat them. Has that always been a focus of yours, or has that sort of progressed over your career to where it is today?
It's definitely progressed, Ben, because when I started, it was a very different landscape. It was a very different format, very different demographic of buyer as well. So, and we've progressed with that as people, as mothers, fathers, we've all got families in this office. So, it's that same old story, treat the way you want to be treated. So our client care is paramount. That's the be all and end all. That's so important to be able to accommodate everyone, both our sellers and our buyers, because, our sellers are moving somewhere else and our buyers are moving into the area, which then become future sellers. And I think bending over backwards and doing whatever you can is crucial. There's a little lady that I've helped from time to time. I get her garden cut, and I go check her mail from time to time and just say hello. And, not because I want to list her house. She's not selling, right? But she needs a little bit of help. The family's not very close. And we'd like to do these little things. They feel good. I feel good doing it. And I'm not expecting anything. So, doing something with zero expectation, I think is the key. People just don't give enough. I think more needs to be given, and you feel good about giving. Yeah.
I don't have anyone that I can cut their lawn, but anyway, I'll think about some of the good things that I can give back to the community. That's something that I'll take away from this for sure.
Ben, I say to the people, we go to see some of the girls go to Coles and say, you know what? Pay for the person in front of you. Buy their shopping for us and see how that goes. See how they feel. Don't
my
tell them
wife
who
does
you
that
are.
stuff. My wife does that. I watch it in awe. She's just she's a very very loving person, and I'll live vicariously through her anyway.
She's a good soul.
Absolutely. Now, I was on your website the other day, and it was talking about how you're going through a growth phase. Now, we don't want to give away too much to your competitors, of course, but can you run us through some of the things that you've got going on in the background at Nicholas Scott Real Estate?
Yeah, definitely. So the growth path is in our people. So the competitors can hear it. I've got nothing to hide at all. I'm happy for them to ring me and ask me. So it's really growing our people. The learnings, the community learnings, the getting them better, because success begins within, and growing our team. The goal is to double our sales team and our rental team, and that's over a 5-year plan. So things don't happen overnight, and because we want to get the right people in the right spots, it takes time to train them, spend time with them, nurture them, and get them to the space where they get success. Because you don't need to own your own business to be successful. So the beauty of sales is that there's no financial parameters. The harder you work, the more you earn. The more sales you make, the more you earn. People branch out and they say, I'm going to open my own office. And I say to them, if I can show you how to earn whatever you want, and still have your holidays and still spend time with your family and still, have a 5-day week, would you do it? Of course you're going to say yes. There is no doubt. So there's intense training, nurturing, mentoring to get them successful, because their success is my success. And then that's the community's success.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good point. Very good point. I'm going to circle back to one other thing. I know we sort of briefly touched on it, but in terms of your career, is there any sort of a defining point in your career that was either a failure or something that you thought was very pivotal?
Oh, mate, I've failed many times,
Join the club,
absolutely. I've made mistakes, and I've done the typical real estate agent thing, and I call it failing forward. And the beauty of that was because I believe I'm a good person, is that I went back and I fixed it. And I'm the first person to say that if I've made a mistake, I made a mistake, Mr. and Mrs. Seller or Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, and I'll fix it. And I apologise, and I take full responsibility. And, is there one defining point? Probably not in terms of an error, probably multiples. And that's just coming back to, in the early days, bad real estate agent behaviour. You're caught up in what other people do. And that's one thing I learned is don't worry about what anyone else is doing. You just do the right thing day in, day out, and the rest will follow. It's what we discussed before. And I say it all the time, it's nice to be nice. It's nice to be nice. People love it. Even, we get people that are rude and grumpy, and you get everything, right? That's just normal. And that's okay. That's their problem. That's not my problem. That saying, the truth will set you free. I love it. We use it all the time. Just tell whoever you're dealing with, just tell them the truth. Don't sugarcoat anything. And you learn that over time. And it gets the monkey off your back. And that's one thing real estate agents are bad for. They're snakes and ladders, and they're ducking and weaving, and don't duck and weave. Just tell it the way it is.
Yeah. Do you think people are getting angrier these days? Are you finding that, a lot more complaints, a lot more people unhappy?
Yeah, definitely. I think world pressure is just, for some people, they can't handle it. And, I get it. I respect it. And, we just say, take a breath. Let's dissect this and work it out. Because there is a solution to every problem. There is nothing that can't be resolved. And again, it comes back to attitude. With the right attitude, Seth Godin, I don't know if anyone listens to him. He's another great speaker. Get on his YouTube channel. He talks about, why people are stressed, and, he writes a beautiful blog, which decreases stress and have fun and relates to attitude, because you can get a better attitude pretty quickly.
Yeah, that's good. In terms of your rental business, I guess, let's just touch on that really quickly. It's pretty challenging out there to find good staff and retaining staff at the moment. Is there anything that you're putting in place on the rental side of things that's keeping the team together and nice and cohesive?
It's funny you should say that. It's we've still got a great team. The longest one has been 10 years in our system, and Matthew heads up the department. Is fantastic. I can't stop him from having babies, Ben. That's my biggest problem.
Okay. Yeah. And I think you'd be front page of the newspaper if you tried to stop them too. So probably best you didn't do that.
I want them to have babies. I want them to have families. Beautiful. But apart from that, the team is amazing. And I want them to have families. I want them to have kids, and I'll come back later and join the team when the kids are a little bit older. And we accommodate the mums. Because, they need time out as well. You do mum hours because real estate and COVID has been incredible, where you can work from home, you can Zoom from home. Gone are the days where you need to be in a ground floor office. So, we're so diverse in being able to offer the whole gamut. They could be on the Greek islands doing property management.
That's true. It'd be hard to unwind. I went from being a sales agent to starting a property management business, and I tell you what, hats off to everybody in the property management space, because it is putting fires out every single day. It's I don't think you could relax too much in the Greek islands with a laptop in your lap. But anyway,
it's the way you deal your portfolio and the way you handle your landlords and your tenants, and efficiencies and speed. Like anything, the quicker you get onto things, the less chance they have of blowing up.
Good advice. I like that. In terms of advice you'd give to any agent, whether it be sales or rental agents at the moment, obviously tough conditions out there on both fronts. Is there any bit of advice that you would give to either party at the moment?
I say don't be scared, work hard, fail sooner rather than later, because you're going to make some mistakes. It's okay to do it. And if you do, fix them. Read, get your knowledge, and read negotiating books, books on ethics, or listen to podcasts, listen to marketing people, and you'll be fantastic. But stick at it, because you need 12 months of hard work before you start to see success.
Yeah. And is there any advice that you would give to vendors at the moment, even buyers? So we'll talk about the buyers and the vendors. What advice would you give to both parties in the current climate?
More vendors, be diligent in your approach. The highest quoting agent is not always the best agent. So the agent who quotes you the biggest price and the lowest fee, there's some clues there. They're not the right agent. Get an agent who's got experience, gives you comparable sales, gives you chunky stuff, because there's enough data to show you exactly where you want to be. Greed is always a massive factor for both, vendors, and it's natural to think I'm going to get more than what my house is worth. But listen to your agent. If you trust them and you like them, give them the opportunity to show what they can do. Don't focus on, your lowest price. Focus on the buyer's highest price, and together you'll work it out and get a satisfactory result. Buyers, if you've got a pre-approval, don't waste it. Use it. And I'm not an economist, but I believe the minute these interest rates stabilise, we're going to get another boom. It can't keep going where builders have stopped building. We've got a growing population. They're going to let people into Australia tenfold. I think this year there's 900,000 approved. They've got to live somewhere. So the rental situation is going to get worse, and so is the buying situation.
It's a bit of a problem, isn't it? Particularly with all these builders going bust now. There's no confidence on that front. So, I think that's going to prop up a lot of markets, the rental and the sales front anyway, particularly in the inner city markets. But we're going to finish up fairly soon, and we always finish off with 2 rapid fire questions, which we've already answered one of them. So I'll move on to the next one. If you had $1 million, or if I give you $1 million and you're acting on my behalf, what are you going to do with it in the current market? Where are you buying? What are you doing for me?
I love Footscray. Footscray's a hot spot. I still think it's got legs. Anything along the Melbourne River, Cowper Street's Hyde Street. Go and buy there. If you see something, buy it, because I'll make you money. I reckon I'll double your money in the next 7-8 years.
Oh, very good. Now, we'll preface that with this is not financial advice, but I
yes,
like
not
the
financial.
confidence.
Yeah. I'm not an economist. I'll give you any financial advice. It's,
Exactly. What's so great about Footscray? Walk me through it. I'm not really too familiar with it. What are some of the highlights?
Footscray is just it's gentrified so much. It's changing the bars, the cafes, the restaurants. I mean, the Vietnamese influence is amazing. The Footscray market's incredible. And with the new Western distributor going through, the government is pouring big amounts of money into that Maribyrnong River precinct. There's a beautiful bike and walk path leading straight into the city and docklands, away from the roads. So Footscray Road is, getting a massive beautification. So all the heavy artillery is coming off the roads. So it'll become an amazing suburb. I mean, Francis Street is, again, on my watch list. I'll be looking at Francis Street because there's no more trucks there in the 18 months to come. And there's a lot happening in Footscray with the parks, the school, the hospital, the biggest hospital in the virtually Southern Hemisphere, being built now. I think there's 8 cranes. It's never to be seen in Footscray to be 8 cranes on one side. So it's pretty special.
Yeah. Very good. Well, that sounds like there's plenty going on, and I'm sure the money will flow with all that, investment into infrastructure and the surrounds. So,
it sure would.
Absolutely. Well, look, thank you so much for joining us today, Nicholas. I've certainly picked up a lot of value from this, and I am a big believer in customer service and putting the customer first, and that's how you've built your business off the back of that mantra, and you've done very, very well in your marketplace. So, very well done to you. Thank you again for joining us, and I look forward to catching up with you very, very soon.
Thank you, Ben. Thanks to you and Homely.
Before you go, please hit follow, like and subscribe to make sure you have me and my next guest back in your ears in 2 weeks' time. Until then, make sure you share this episode with your friends and colleagues, find details and resources in the show notes, and get in touch via Homely socials with any questions. That's at homely.com.au on Insta, Facebook and TikTok.